All right, welcome. It is Thursday night, 7 p.m. in East Coast time. We are live with founder John McCaig of Liberty Aid Academy, and the title of the show: Are Kids Trustworthy? That I know we can't cover all that in an hour, but we'll do the trust part of it anyway. How are you, Jack? What's happening?
Things are great at the school. Tim Judge in the house. Thanks, Tim, for being here. The school is doing great. I just want to say, like, sometimes I think back on what I've had to, build here at the school, and with people's help, obviously, and it has just turned into, a kind of like it doesn't need to be difficult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like we've tried to make it as easy as simple as possible. I think we've achieved that. We're always looking to get better. So let us know how we can improve. So it's not like that. It's just we've been doing it for a long time and helping thousands of people and stuff like that. So through every walk of life, I do this work, I do that work, I do what I'm saying, like everything, and so many different can't solve problems that show up at the door, and it's just become kind of a lot easier for everyone. So we're not raising prices based on that. We're what I'm saying, like they're
mhm,
here, and we're really helping people. 100% of the people that show up can use our trust, use our other hacks and work, and use all this knowledge. So it's not like another school where it's like, I hope this helps. I hope that load they hopefully don't want uh, works out.
yeah.
Which we're not like that. We're not in the hopes area. It all works for everyone in the USA and now everyone in Canada. So very happy about that. It,
Well, I we talk about trust and all this kind of stuff. So when I'm on the internet, I see ads from these other people that are, oh, if you want to, they go over financial plans and all this kind of stuff, and they make it so confusing. Just to what you were saying yesterday, I saw a guy say, well, if you set up this trust like this, and then this owns this trust, and then this comes over here from that, I was like, wow, this is a really complicated, but that's how he's going to sell you a $5,000, $10,000 program because he has to make it complicated.
yeah,
And just from what you're saying, and from what I know from doing it, it doesn't have to be that complicated. But he had 7 different steps of how to, protect your house and your business and your this and that and all kinds of stuff. And and he was bashing another guru who made a comment about, whatever. So uh that popped up in my feed, and the whole scratch paper, big loop around of how to protect yourself and do this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, wow, that sounds complicated. I'm so happy with what I have, what we have. It just makes it pretty straightforward. So yes, yes.
I mean,
But the
you're
if
not
you
used
don't
to it
have
being
another,
not simple.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I picked the topic for the show, and I have a little bit of a backstory because my my daughters are signing up to be lifeguards, so we had to dig out the social security card and the birth certificate for this. And I'm looking at these things, and they're direct deposit into the bank, and I was like, so wanted to get into our kids trustworthy, and at what point, because they are under 18, but and I do want to set up trusts for them, but when do they go into the town or wherever they're going to lifeguard and all this kind of stuff and say, I'd rather get paid into a trust, because I haven't pushed them that far. They don't trust me. So they're not trustworthy, but I'm educating them. I tell them about it because I also had a great meeting with our friend and our mutual colleague. And I told him about that. Where do you know this guy? Oh, it's through my trust group and all this kind of stuff. So there, I keep talking about it, keep introducing it to them, and they'll get it at some point. But right now, being 16 and having a license, they're like, this is how it's done. I don't want to be weird like you. I want to be like other kids. So at what point do we, I tell them that their birth certificate was a scam. because I
Yeah.
can't say that because then they'll just like put me away in a home.
Yeah, it's so interesting that the schools they go to, when my children, I did a homeschool for a long time, and then they eventually like, oh, we want to go to school. I was like, oh, you want to go to day prison? Okay, off to day prison you go then.
Right.
That's all I would call for them to be like, but they ended up not liking me because they went with the program. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
And so the answer is really you never shop with them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're always attempting to educate your children. I think it's so important
Right.
that you brought this up because what really tells me when a trust is really working for someone and this information is when it goes multi-generational,
Yeah.
which it has in some families here, and it's wonderful to see.
Hmm. Well, I'm
Gotcha.
trying to open their minds while it's still openable, right? Because I got brothers and sisters who, if I mention this, they go like, yeah, you know, keep to yourself over there. They don't even want me to mention anything. So I know that conversation is over, and anything I say, I'm just an idiot, and I'm going to prison. So that's over. But I try and introduce these concepts to the kids and get them to understand that there's multiple ways of doing things and the benefits of it. So when it comes down to it, we had to collect their information and bring it down to town hall today. And I'm like, oh, well, eventually when you get a job and you want to set this stuff up, you can do it this way. Um, you know how receptive teenagers are, but I got to introduce these now because
Yeah, you have
they,
to.
they
No one
don't
else is going to
they get
do
it.
it
No.
to them or for them. It's so really it's a heavy weight of responsibility on your shoulders to try and get it right. So you're such like Tim is such a caring guy, obviously, for even bringing this up and having this on his mind so much and so on. Obviously, is a great father. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it's really important to do. And one concept I would think maybe to tell them is, why do you think they have doctors? Like, couldn't you just
Mhm.
get out a scalpel and like just cut yourself open? And why not?
Right.
Why have somebody that cuts trees? Why have doctors and lawyers? Why have lawyers? Why have
Mhm.
accountants? Wouldn't accountants know more about certain money things than you? That's why you have accountants. You don't have
Right.
time to do accounting all day, every day for the rest of your life. Maybe you don't know something at 16 about accounting. You know what I'm saying? That's why they're
Mhm.
accountants. I'm just saying maybe some of them are, really highly knowledgeable, like they're super wealthy people. I know certain even mainstream accountants and accounting firms get paid ridiculous sums of
Yeah.
money, for audits and making sure the audit says what it needs to and all that stuff.
Yep. Yeah. Well, my son, I have a son. My number one son has his master's now in accounting, and he's headed down that path. And I've
How
introduced these
interesting.
concepts to him, and he's wants to learn more about it. But of
How
course, he's got
interesting.
his head down trying to learn his craft from the people that do it all day long.
Yeah.
They manage properties, and so he's auditing properties and that kind of stuff.
Fantastic.
So
How interesting.
yeah, so
Real
he's
world practical knowledge with numbers to go with it. That's
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
God bless his work.
So here's Thomas saying, I really liked how you organized everything now. It's easy to find the information to answer your questions. I've set up several trusts, one for real estate and two other for operations. Well done.
Fantastic. Way to
Very
go,
nice.
Thomas. I recognize the name. I'm very happy for you. Uh, yeah, Tammy is a great organizer here. I'm totally not going to take credit for that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm the creator of the information and stuff, but Tammy, if you have a question, contact at libertyacademy.org. She's running all those type of operations and she's really great at it. Kudos to Tammy. That's all I'm going to say. Thank you. I'm just passing along your thanks to the right individual. So thank you, Thomas.
Um, Alan saying some banks offer age 12 and up debit cards. I'm curious if that would be available option for a trust account. Um, I would think so.
Interesting. Which it's not really. I don't. The answer is I don't know because I haven't done it.
Hmm.
myself, and maybe some of this got denied. Maybe there's a way to try it at another bank, because now we're talking about bank rules, right? Individual bank rules and what they do and what they don't do, and those are like internal policies that are this one day and that another day. So it's not like we're talking about federal government policy or anything. No, no, no. This is just internally what a bank is going to do, and that changes. So uh, if you have that mindset, then you're going about, okay, will this work? Like if you're let's say you're the parent and you have a trust set up, right, at a
Hmm.
bank. Uh, I want to go over this. There was an individual that has a son that's in a similar situation to what your daughters are facing at a similar age, and was trying to like get their money control of it, and his mother was like, "Well, I want you to operate under a trust if you can, so you're with God, for
Hmm.
spiritual reasons, not just tax reasons." And so that was more her focus, and uh, so she was able to. Again, they're going to tax, because you had to get some job through the person. I think it was a similar case, and so I think he set up his person account, uh, and that he wasn't able to set. He see here's the issue: you can't set up a trust account as someone at 12 because you could only be beneficiary.
Right.
So will they though let a beneficiary draw from a trust? I mean, you're not supposed to. You know what I'm saying? A
Hmm.
trustee only. So it's actually you're too young. So it's like going into a bank and asking them if they have a method, and usually they start with like some sort of personal account to get a debit card. Not always. Which I was like,
Hmm.
start. Get a banking relationship as some history, even if you can't do a trustee yet. Eh, they're not listing anyway yet. This
Right.
is Tim's point, which
Yep.
go ahead and take it. Maybe that's why they're not doing it until 18. I remember I had a bank account as a child. Myself, it was a personal account. It was called Friendship Savings and Loan. It was right up the street from my house. It was so sweet. And then we had the banking crisis in the 70s, and all the banks shut. And I was like, I'm a child. And I had a paper route, and all my money's in there. Like, and it was closed for
Hmm.
2 weeks
Yeah.
in the USA.
Yeah.
Okay, people are like, "Well, there are no bank runs here." What are you talking about? I was a child. How they closed my bank and eventually Chase bought it, and it was like, "We're open again. Here's your money." It's like that whole friendship thing, huh? Yeah, no, that you totally had me as a child with that whole thing. That didn't work at all. Friendship, savings and loan.
Oh, marketing to children. I have a funny story. This is a little side rant, but it's the one of the funniest things that's ever happened. So my son is 12, and we're sitting around. He's number one. I got four more after him, and he goes, "I'm gonna get a car when I'm 16." And I was like, "You are? Wow. How are you gonna get a car?" 1-800 cars for kids. Have you heard that commercial? That's a
No,
that's
no, no,
that's a
no, no,
charity. That's a charity around here that comes on the
no.
radio. 1-8 1-800 cars for kids. Donate your car today, and you could so they take care of troubled kids. And he thought he was just going to be able to go there and get himself a car that somebody donated. I I almost fell off my chair like that.
I love it.
So because that comes every day
Oh
going to school,
man, I
that little
want that to
jingle.
be reality, though. I
Oh,
want
so
that
did
to be
he. He was
reality.
devastated
Oh
when
man,
I told him that's not how
oh,
that works.
I want that to be true. Oh,
he was uh
so
he was
good.
devastated that he was not just going to be able to go there and say, "Yeah, I'm a kid. I need a car." And
Hey,
somebody's
what
donating.
kinds you got anyway? What do I got to pick from?
He at 12 years old, he was fully serious that he was going to have a
Oh,
car. This is what it's for.
oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
They
And what a
just
view of reality, and that everything's so swell. We got a freaking charity for cars for kids,
yeah.
everything. We got everything up in here. I love that view of reality. My goodness. That guy is
Yeah.
so positive. I love it.
Yeah, that was a good one. And yes, Frank's saying they're gonna like that. They're gonna like a trust after they get their check with all those taxes. They were lifeguards last year, and we did do their taxes. And because they only made a couple $1,000, they got everything back. So they were excited that they got money back. I'm like, why did you pay in the first place? Why did you check a box that they take anything from you?
Yeah.
So, um, we learned that one too, that you don't have to check those boxes with withholding. I was like, don't let them withhold anything. It's all yours. You take it. And he goes, well, then I'll get a tax bill at the end of the year. I'm like, you won't, because you only going to make $3,000 this summer. You don't pay.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm like, why do you need $400 back in April? But we went through that again, and so they understand that checking that box, they get dinged for that.
What
So
a
hopefully
wonderful,
this year they don't check that box.
that's great. What a wonderful pair. You're watching over every little step as they go, and they need to have each step so
Yeah,
that they're like, oh, okay, now I finally get what you're getting at here. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You got to be patient and do it over a number of years. So, way to go.
Command saying, for your primary home, would you put it under the named trust or Christian trust? The house still has a mortgage.
The Christian trust that we have I would go to the course on it. I can't go into every detail here, but I
Mhm.
did go into every single tiny little detail uh, over in the course that's, how to apply for real estate tax exemption. So go to that one and it starts from the beginning. What trust to put it in? The answer is a Christian trust because
Right.
you're naming a trust for ease of use or what you're using the trust for. So you're putting the real estate into a trust of Christian name trust, so it's easy for them to choose. Oh, okay, this is a Christian uh parsonage, great. As obviously a Christian name, they don't have any information that it's not, and so that's all the reason to approve it. Check, you see.
Yep.
So but go watch every detail in the course. So but yeah, no, that's the answer, and that's why we name trust to get the thing done. You like that, huh? Oh my god, that
Yeah.
was one of the all-time greats. I
Hugh
agree
Brown's
with
seen that
you.
commercial. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
a big
god,
operation.
that should be the Cars for Kids actual commercial. You know what I'm saying? Like him getting it wrong. Oh, it would be so memorable. He should write him. He should email him or something about that. Like,
Oh,
hey,
well, it's 1-800 Cars for Kids. My kids were singing it and singing it until they
oh
found
my
out that
goodness.
does not what it means.
I really, it would be the greatest. Be like, so many people would watch it. Oh, did you get your car? Oh, it's the ultimate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, thank you for that.
So JJ saying the Christian trust doesn't need a bank account.
It depends on your needs, but I would actually, the reason to create, okay, there are different reasons, but the main reason to create, one of the main reasons to create a Christian trust, because the first trust you should create is your first and last name trust. You have ID, you could do anything with it, any operations. So now you're talking about is, what's, can I do that I can't do with that trust? That, why start a Christian name trust? Why? Right? Uh, and the main reason is for what I was just explaining, real estate tax exemption to get that approved. So let's say, oh, hey, I did it. You know what I'm saying? Great. I've started a trust and whoa, it's in the name of the trust. Fantastic. What if you want to sell it? You know what I mean? If it's in the trust, they're going to get kind of check, make some money to the Christian trust. So we're going to put that check. You see, you need a bank account for that reason for it, if you're thinking
Mhm.
it through in the logical process of real estate transactions, you see that's the reason. uh I hope that answers your question. Okay.
And Command is following up. Should I put rentals under the Christian trust as well?
I don't think so because they're not going to be approved for because it's not a parsonage like it. This is a this is a Christian tax exemption, the trust in itself. And so you're like saying, oh, I'm extending this Christian tax exemption. You don't have a church, right? So, but you're a Christian minister, okay. and this is my parsonage. It's okay. That's legal because how can you be a Christian minister if you got to be somewhere? So and so it's also you have to be Christian. You have to give everything to God, according to Acts 5 in the Bible. You have to, or you die literally. So that's you go look it up. To be Christian, you can't own anything. So uh, you should put it in for that reason, maybe, but I don't believe in the concept of spiritually renting because you're like, one of the overlords. And if you had done what I said a couple of years ago, and I've been saying it for years, if you had sold your real estate and bought, U.S. minted gold buffaloes, the, the gold almost went through the dome. It was like, right to the dome. So, but because they're doing crazy stuff with real estate, and it's not liquid. You see, it's just not. You
Right.
get a storm, you get problems. Oh, I got to move and stuff. And real estate's like, are we doing '08 again, which was really '06 when it started? It's like,
Mhm.
that's when it started to seize, and then the airplane just went, yeah. That's when the engine seized though in '06, and then it just crashed for 7 years
Yeah.
or something like that. So would have been good to have gold back then. You see what I'm saying? Especially with the tariffs and currency concern and all this nonsense, gold is just going through the roof. So what do you have it for? An investment, probably. So real estate's not looking so good in a lot of places. Anyway, I want to give you that feedback. Plus, it's kind of evil to rent. It's like being a banker or a landlord or something like that. I'm not saying there aren't reasons to do it, and everyone needs a home, but really, whose country is this? Why are we paying for real estate here? Well, we're slaves. You see what I'm saying? So if you join in the slave system, your karma can have some difficulties operating a Christian trust. So I'm being real about the answer and giving a practical alternative that's actually better, in my opinion. Gold doesn't tarnish or anything. You know what I mean? It's like you don't have to fix the roof on the gold. So no taxes on the gold, no nothing. Just you want this gold coin? And the coin dealer's like, yeah, here's the cash. Okay, all right, bye. Simple.
Well, I tell you, they tell you what they're going to do. I know we've talked about that before, but I remember because I've been in real estate for so long that in 1992 I read the paper that they said, well, the banks are going to, go crazy because it was '08, the boomers start hitting retirement age and they're the biggest generation. And so when they start going fixed income, they're going to sell their second house and downsize to their little house, and real estate's going to take a huge hit. So they said that was a Harvard study back in '92. So I said, okay, let's be ready for that. And everything was booming because they started giving out crazy loans. They wanted people to do this because they knew it would stop when they started to retire, and that whole marketplace would change because you had the boomers, then you have X, then you have whatever the next one is, millennials or whatever it is. They weren't going to have enough. They weren't going to reach peak earning years, so there was going to be a gap, right? The X's weren't enough to carry the real estate market, so they said there's going to be a gap of pain. And so what the banks do? They just started churning out free money to make the fees, to get the mortgages, to make everybody, money because it was going to end. They knew it was going to end because when they started turning 65, the market was going to change. But
Demand would not be there to support the price increasing constantly.
right.
Yeah.
And so the banks just wanted to make the fees because they saw it drying up. They said if it's gonna dry up, we have to make fees and turn out mortgages faster than anybody. And so they didn't care who it was because they had to make the money because it was all gonna end. And that's how they created a giant, giant mess. And there's a great movie out there, sad movie, but The Big Short uh, explains it all, how criminal they all were.
I
Just
mean, they're
just
all
setting that up.
criminals. It's so true. They
There it is.
really, what happened? They just dried up the money one day.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
One
He
day
put
they
it up there the same time I
changed
said it.
the rules of lending. We're not going to do no knock anymore. And all the lenders changed.
Yep.
That was the only thing that caused the entire crash and crisis was a rule change of lending. One thing, like you're talking about.
Yeah.
The rules were this: one day you could get into a knock loan, no problem. So everybody just buy tulip bulbs, and the tulip bulb price will go up. You know what I'm saying? Like it just
Yep.
they created it going up, and so they created intentionally. Uh, Significantly exacerbated crash because, like you're saying, they already knew there was going to be a crash, so they exacerbated it. Okay, let's make money on the way up and make that, and let's rig the whole thing. Yes, that's so.
Right.
Uh,
And then they knew that, people would default on them, and then the bank would end up owning the house.
yeah,
And that was all their plan. Give everybody a loan they want, and then they have to give the house back to the bank. And then the bank owns
Ronald
everything.
Reagan said, in the 80s when he was president, he said every tax dollar goes to pay the debt, the federal debt. Like how
The
could,
interest on the debt.
yeah,
They're not even paying down. It was
no, they're
just to
not
pay
even
the
paying it
interest.
down. To whom are thou? You
Right.
see what I'm saying? Like, how, if you print money, it's illogical to say, oh, we owe money because we printed money. No, you printed money so you have money. Where's the owing part? It doesn't, it's such a, you know,
Well, that's they pay the interest to the Federal Reserve, which is not federal. It's not us. It's a group of bankers that set the policies. So it's a scam.
well, they've extracted
Yeah.
$36 trillion of wealth by their
Yeah.
own, accounting, which is short, it. Uh, from this country. They stole $36 trillion by their own accounting. That's not counting the interest. So, like, we should be getting the money back. Actually, who are these people? I don't
Yeah.
understand. To fake that you're, changing government when all this country exists for is to give these very few individuals, we don't know who they are, all of our wealth, 36 trillion plus interest of, I don't know, it's probably another 36 trillion.
hmm Tim's here with a hypothetical question. The trust owns a car. Is the insurer for the car, in other words, no outside insurance, gets in a car accident? Does the trust absorb all liability, or can the trustee be sued?
Good question. So, the title, right? There are two pieces of paper that go with ownership of a vehicle in the US, right? Two. What is ownership? And that's the title. The trust should own it. Okay, hey, the trust owns it, great. But the trust doesn't, it's not confusing for anybody to think the trust isn't someone. You know what I'm saying? It can't get behind the wheel and turn the wheel, right? So the trust has no liability, right? Because on the registration, which is the other, supporting document that goes along with the title, you keep the person there. The person now handles all liability in your whole life because the person doesn't have anything, doesn't have any bank accounts, doesn't have any revenue, doesn't have any assets, doesn't have anything. You see, and so whereas before we're like, I have to protect myself. You know what I mean? But it's a corporation called the person. They hoodwinked us, very clever, right? Clever slavery, and so the issue is, uh, you know, uh, sorry, you keep your insurance the same. You see what I'm saying? Your registration is in the person, so your insurance can stay the same. Your person takes all the risk because it doesn't have anything. Get the lowest insurance possible, and so no, your trust wouldn't be at any issue because it's not the thing running it. You follow? Oath of take oath of poverty. Yes, it's actually required as a Christian, according to Acts 5 of the Bible. It's required, or you literally fall over and die. So if you're a Christian, so that's what they mean by oath of poverty. And this satisfies it. You don't have to give it everything you have to the church. You give everything to God via the trust. Here, everything back to you. I grant it back to you, God. And you're a trustee. You have the debit card. You run everything. You decide everything you want to do. It's for God wants you to stay alive. So everything in
Mhm.
there, is for you. You're a trustee. You're granting your soul. Hey, I'm giving it to Jesus Christ, and you're a trustee, right? You're grantor and trustee. I want to watch over my soul. So it goes along with the watching of the money. It's congruent with the Christian ethos and the Bible and everything. So that's how it works. Easy and simply.
JJ is back. One trust is formed There's no need for an LLC or a holding company. Everything can just be from the trust as a business entity.
Correct. That's right. Why you have all this other business? No. This is so simple. You see what I'm saying? The document matches your Christian decision. You're no longer, hey, I'm 18 now, right? You're an adult. You can make a legal decision. Hey, that birth certificate isn't me. It's not a contract I was involved with. Uh, I'm going to go with Jesus Christ. I'm going to sign my own trust. Here we go. Helicopter right over my house again. Sign it again. It's circling. Great. Uh, Let me. They're so annoying. Uh, as So no holding company or anything like that. See, you're the grantor. Oh, I put my soul in here. I put my assets in here. I put everything I can. Right, everything back to God. Return to sender. They your trustee. I watch over everything. Okay, and so this is a Christian hack. No paperwork. It has 501c3 status, but a special status 6033 according to the IRS code. Non-reporting, in other words, you don't ever fill out a document to the IRS. No reports, no nothing like that. And so having an LLC, a holding company, blah, 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 that would necessitate pieces of paper to the IRS and stuff. That kind of negates the whole, set of the trust. And you complexified the whole thing and you unsimplified everything. It's like, no, the reason you do this is just the trust. It's a Christian decision. So it's a Christian financial hack that they are using. You can side with any God. They're with we. Okay, you got we trust. They're with the devil. All right, fine. Your decision. But all's well that ends well. Yeah, I don't think that's the way the story goes with that one. But as an adult, you could make the decision. Hey, I'm 18 or older, and I can decide. Okay, just do it. And so that's why no holding company, nothing outside of that. You wouldn't combine a non-taxable entity with a taxable entity. It'd be link you up to all the tax rules and everything. No, that's all the fake stuff on the internet is trying to get you back to do something taxable. They want their money back. Get out of Liberty Aid Academy. We want our money. Don't listen to them and all their proof. They have 100 testimonials, but listen to us, would you please? It's like, no.
Let's take a moment here to recognize Kimberly. Greetings, family. I need a prayer. ICE has my husband. So,
oh, that's not good.
I hope that he can work that out.
He signed to the trust
in his facer.
Yeah, got watched over. We'll pray for him right now. I hope he was signed to the trust because that is unusual.
Yes. Frank says our prayers for you and your husband, Kimberly.
All right, Kimberly. We're all saying our prayers. More information, if you put it in the classroom or direct message me, I'll see if I can help in some way. With more information, more knowledge, there's sort of information in that area that goes along with the trust. If you sign it, that's why I asked. So, okay. I hope it goes well. God bless your whole family and him and extract him from this situation. Thank you, God. Get it done.
Frank is saying the trust is the holding company. To follow up on that other conversation.
If you're going to use call somebody
labels.
A company, a holding company is saying, hey, man, I don't have a stereo receiver, man. I got like an integrated. I got like a preamp and an amp. You know what I'm saying? So a holding company, it holds the assets. The trust does. So there's no separate entity. It's like a receiver. Everything is all in one. So there's no need, because it handles. It can have a bank account with it. You see what I'm saying? So you don't need a holding company. Mm-hmm. And there are different rules in different countries, so I need a holding company. Now you can use this in different countries.
Kimberly's saying yes, and it's registered. So her husband has the trust, and it's registered.
You see, he signed with the trust, and it's registered. Is what I think you're answering. So, direct message me in the classroom, and I'll give you information that might be useful. I'll try and help. Trust has been it for me. Oh, well, I got a lot over here on Instagram. Individually, for me, has been helpful in situations to not make it so they can take me or chain me and stuff. So I've experienced that. So that's what I want to tell you. Uh, we got something over here. Oh, Dance Fine Art is Maryland, I think. We got, hey, John, question. My friend's sister inherited her mom's house, and she's being told she can't have the title transfer to January until January, and the sister has to pay property taxes until she can have it. Is there a way she can not pay property taxes now? No, no, because it's not in a trust yet, and even if it was, you have to go through the application process and have them approve it. So no, it doesn't work like that. You have to has to go into a trust, Christian trust. You have to apply at the county or state level, depending on how your state county does it, and then you get approval, and then from when they go, okay, it's approved today, that's when the property taxes stop. Okay, it's not just putting it in trust; it's getting the approval. So no, good question, but that's why it's so important to get real estate in a trust, and then from generation to generation, whatever, it just nothing happens, right? Okay, there's one less trustee, so yeah, you don't want to any real estate not in a trust for that reason, especially intergenerationally, because this solves any kind of inheritance taxes. And if you get the property taxes done ahead of time, it will solve that issue too.
All right.
All
Kimberly's
right,
going to read
Kimberly,
about
we'll
you.
say another prayer for you. God watch over your husband and solve the situation in your favor. That's he. If he signed up his trust to God, hey God, don't let it down. That's on your ass. It ain't on me. It ain't on Tim. Hey God, it's on your ass. So I'm just being real. So show everyone who God is. That's what I got to say. Uh,
Command is back. Would it make sense to put a 401k under a trust? And is it possible?
What you're gonna do is like when you move everything out of your person and all that stuff into trust. When you complete that process, hey, you got real estate out, cars, bank accounts, blah blah blah. You've done all that stuff. The last thing on the table is like 401k, and then you just put it over in a trust account. You just move the assets, like say, oh, I got it at like you know portfolio at Schwab or something like that. Okay, okay. So you start a Schwab account with your trust, and one day when you're completed all the processes, like I just said, nothing else is in the person. I don't have anything in the person anymore. Then you just go there one day, you transfer everything from 401k over to the trust, and that's it. You're done. Then you're like, what about the tax bill? Well, how are they going to collect anything if your person doesn't have anything? So what about the tax bill?
Yep.
Your person has nothing anymore. So even if they were going to get a judgment, sorry, don't have anything, nothing to get. And they know what's in every bank account, so they don't start any actions or nothing like that. They know what's up. You beat them, and you don't hear from them. I've had giant tax problems come from like churches and businesses and organizations. As soon as you set up a trust and move everything in it, what? There's nothing they can do. It's their rules. Sorry, used your rules to my advantage. Finally, get out of here. I'm an accountant. You see, uh, well, I'm going to use your rules. Okay, we need a loophole up here. We need a big one. Everyone in. Here's a loophole. Everyone, but yeah, no, we got an air condition now. Yeah, walk through. You can stop at the snack bar through the loophole now. It's nice. So good,
What?
good questions, though.
Why don't I gonna let you go off for 1 second. I have to do something, but I'll be right back. But if you would give us an update, you just had a Monday live for the YouTube. I'll put that link up there, and you can tell us what's happening inside that classroom and that live.
Yeah, that's YouTube. You know how you can upgrade and get a paid membership, right? And it's called mentorship. That's what the name of it is. And so you go in there like, oh, I'm going to choose to be a member at the mentorship level. And so that's a paid subscription. And in there is a whole stack of videos that I've already done over this, within the past year, a little more, maybe roughly the past year. Uh, First of all, I go live every Monday at noon. Every last Monday of the month at noon. You get that along with your membership. I go live like this, but not like I really answer your question, go over videos we've already done in there and projects we've already done and everything. And current events, many things. And you can ask questions directly to me. I give you the full answer and all that. But then there's also all these other videos where I have a lot of information, especially credit building for trust. And so it's not like, yeah, I have a course on it and that all is right and everything. But this, I go through applications for like credit applications where I literally fill in every single line item. You know what I mean? Every blank box, I go through. Okay, this is what we put in here. This is why you put it in here. So let's say I'm getting a net 30 account, like a Uline or something. I'll have like 8 videos. You know what I'm saying? I'll be like, okay, I have each one a short video. Like, okay, here you click here, and then we start, and then you go over here and you do this. And okay, I'm gonna put in my credit card information. Uh, okay, I'm gonna turn it off while I do that, and then boom, it brings us to our next screen. Here's the next screen, and here you click this, you fill in this blank here. Oh, I gotta put in my address and stuff. Let me you put in your address right here, and then I turn off that video. Okay, here's the next video, and I literally break you through like it's impossible to make a mistake. I do everything. And over time, I show you this is what reporting agency you need to pay for. And I show you in real time as I do this, the credit report being built for John McCaig Trust. So, like, let me show you uh, this being built. And now I have it, I go in, like, no, look, see, you're all accounts reporting. And it takes months to do this. Uh, Not that the time required takes you, oh man, I got to work on this for months straight. No, 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 no. It's not like that. But say you get an account, oh, I'm going to get this one product, fill in the blank, got credit now. Okay. Then you pay them. The transaction to do it, since I tell you exactly how to do it, is super easy and quick. But you get the product, you pay for it. Because building a business credit report is about how fast you pay the account. It's not like a personal credit report. So if you get a bill, you pay it like that day, boom, and then it reports positively. So, but okay, so that whole thing happened. They gave you a product, you paid, and so on. Now it has to report, and you're like, oh, okay, great, report already. Well, sometimes it could take 3 months or longer for it to report because see, this is a business, right? You're ordering a product and you want it to report. That's what you really pay for. You're like, okay, I'm gonna buy a product I don't necessarily need. It's slightly overpriced. Okay, maybe some cleaning products I need them anyway. Whatever, right? Something like that. And so you do go through the process and everything. Well, okay, this is a business. They're trying to make money, and one of the things, oh, we're gonna make money by reporting payments. So okay, well, see, there are different ways on their end as a creditor, but they're really a creditor for a net 30 account, but they're selling like office supplies or something like Uline. Okay. So you're not really in the business of like, hey, we need the best credit reporting account we can get. Those things are expensive, like a bank has. They're not a bank. They're trying to minimize what they have to pay to get you to go with them to buy overpriced product to have them report. So they're only paying to report where you made a payment like quarterly. You know what I'm saying? Like it can take 3 months for them to report some of these net 30 things. You see, because they're just paying the lowest amount, as a reporter to credit reporting agency. They're paying what's the lowest fee? And there's one for like doing it quarterly. So I'm just saying your end, it doesn't take that long to do this stuff, but for their end, it takes some months to report this stuff. So the sooner you get in here and do it, you don't wait for the black swan event. You're like, oh, now I need credit. Oh, wait, they got the new PVP idea. Look at all the crazy stuff they got going on. Of course, you're gonna have a black swan. And they're like, okay. I mean, look at China right now. They're like, okay, here's a stimulus. You know what I mean? Everybody let up. They do that from time to time. They've already done it. So you need your credit report in the right spot for the next situation, which they're going to invent. So I'm just saying that's a very important part. There are many other things I've done in there, and you could bring up anything that's on your mind that needs doing,
Yeah.
and we could go over, in particular, what's on your mind. Like as you go through the month, I recommend people that do this make a list of, bullet point list of your issues and problems as you go through the month, and then bullet point me when first last Monday of the month. I knew your bullet point me. Hey, what about this? What about that? And people do that, and so it's really, we get very far, and people get a lot of information over there in this YouTube situation. I'm glad I did it because it's super current. I really recommend it to people. So yeah, that's what it is. Thanks for bringing that up, Chip.
Yeah, the greatest thing about it is that you're in the classroom all the time answering questions. People have to wait and get those questions answered afterwards. But inside this mentorship, you're there live at the end of the month, and so, like you said, when you write down your questions, you can ask a very specific question towards your issue, and get an answer directly from you. So yeah, that's a big benefit to have. So that's a nice thing, that membership, and that's through YouTube. It's not through the classroom, not on the website. It's, you got to subscribe through YouTube.
And we can't give discounts, or can you give me a membership or discount? I can't do this. It's through YouTube. You just pay them, and so it's a service they provide. It's an application that allows us to make a subscription to our videos, and so we don't have control over that.
I'll just remind everybody, you got a couple questions over there on Instagram. If anybody has any questions,
I have a follow-up over here. Marilyn has a follow-up about the real estate taxes issue. Could they say that you owe the taxes before the trust was established? Yeah, they're going to say you owe the taxes not just before the trust was established. It's before they approve your application for, you apply at county or state. They say, you fill out the whole thing. Can I get real estate tax exemptions? So if you did get approval, real estate taxes apply up until they approve. No real estate taxes. That's how it works. Not about when the trust is established. You see, when they approve, not when the real estate goes into trust. Nope. When they approve your application. Okay. So, I hope that answers that.
Very good. Very good. Yeah, I'll just remind anybody, if you've got any questions, ask them live, because that's what John's here for. And
we've had a lot of new students coming. It's been really great. It really has been. And welcome to all the new students and all the prospective students watching this. Things are going really great at school. We really have, over this many years, I can't believe how long I've been doing this. We've really ironed out all the wrinkles here so that your process of using this trust is absolutely smooth. You know what I'm saying? Every wrinkle has been ironed out so long ago. It's wonderful. So it's great to have so many new students here. I just wanted to say that it's been really good to see you all showing up this month.
Thomas J is back. He says, do you have a document where you make a commitment to Jesus Christ?
Yeah, the trust declaration that you signed. It's in there. You should go read it. It's in there. There's a clause in there. Jesus Christ is your sole authority. Boom. That's it. There's no way to equivocate that. And that's a necessity to being a Christian. You actually cannot be a Christian according to the New Testament and under Acts 5. You have to give everything to the church. Everything, or give everything to God, right? Okay, give everything to God. Like, who trusts the church? You know what I'm saying? The Catholics? It's like, no, they're not actually the Catholics. It's the Romans. Why do you not call yourself the Romans? Because you nailed them to a tree. Oh, okay. Well, there is that. Man, that's an old. We had some marketing issues in the past. Quit bringing them up. I'm like, well, it's in your name. So, why? We're supposed to trust the Romans now? Is that what the Romans are telling you? Okay, well, is it me, or it feels like it's you guys? Who's your marketing? I feel like I need to talk to your marketing people a little bit. You need to take that out of your name. Like, it's not the Washington, they changed it. It's the Commodores now. You see what I'm saying? It's not the Redskins. They're like, Gil, come on up with your marketing a little bit. What are you doing over there? Like, oh, Romans. So yeah, no, you do it yourself. It's a compact. You can sign with the devil one on one, right? You can sign with Jesus Christ. You and Jesus Christ. That's it. Notarized.
Thomas is following up. I read it and I did find it there. I thought you had a document that is never made public.
Incorrect. It's made public the day you sign it by a public notary, right? And the entire hive knows that second. Impossible? No. You don't know who you deal with. No, that a public notary is the one that gives entire public notice to the entire globe you're in. So yeah, no, that's how it happens. It's always public. Private in relation to this trust, right? It says private trust. What does that mean? It has nothing to do with your privacy and no one knows about it. No, it has nothing to do with that. It means one thing: you did not use a publicly licensed individual to create the trust. You did it yourself, privately. You didn't use Secretary of State. You didn't use Mark Cardin lawyer. You did not use a CPA. You didn't use anyone with a license from the state, i.e., so it's not a public, because those are publicly licensed individuals. So it's not a public trust. It's a private trust. You create it yourself. So people misunderstand what that word means quite often, and that's what it means. So.
Yeah. Anybody who's a public servant, you're in business to do business with the public, like a lawyer, an accountant, people like you said.
With a license.
They're there to make money from off the public and make those up and charge people. So you don't have to do that. You do it privately and use this trust.
Yeah,
it's a beautiful thing.
Simple. They did it to start their system. How did their system start? They wrote up a trust. They got We Trust. Very clever. You see, that's what their entire umbrella system's under. So you can have an entire umbrella system too, and you do currently, and I do too. Yeah.
Crypto Ken in the house says, hi, you guys. New people, watch John's YouTube videos. Get John's bundle. Get the trust, an EIN. Open a trust bank account. It equals freedom. And the thumbs up.
Thank you, Crypto Ken. I what a great summation. So many people in here. I mean, this works for 100% of the people that come here. And, everybody's like, yeah, but really, but eventually, whoever becomes a student, it works for 100% of them. Whatever they're doing, business, whatever it is. I'm protecting my inheritance, everything. It works for everyone. So it's fantastic. We have a follow-up here again, Maryland.
You know when it doesn't work, though, John?
What?
When you don't get the trust.
That's right. We're getting near the end of the show.
When you get the trust.
Say the ending tagline. He's like, man, I got to go. We're not being late today. But it's true. If you don't sign a trust, if you don't get it, right, it's copyrighted. You can't get it from somewhere else. So.
Yeah.
And it's affordable here. You could go in. Oh, hey, I don't have that kind of money. This is so cheap. What are you talking about? But if you don't have the cash right now, you can get it financed when you check out with ShopPay. So, you get all the information. You start this like today. What? I mean, come on. So you need to start with the trust before you can do all this. That's my point. And if you don't give me that, it's not affordable thing. Get in there and do it tonight. So you get in there, you do it. I'm here to help you. Oh, I want to amp it up a little. I'm going to get a YouTube membership. Yes, I'm in there. Wherever you want to go, right? You're in the classroom every day. Our private forum where I'm the moderator. Hey, I got this question. I'm doing this. Let me show you this photo. I got a question on the forum. Bring it. Let's go. You know what I mean? We're all in here doing this together. Like, found a new hack. Everyone's into this. Found a new way to get money from the government. Work perfectly. Look at this. Everyone's in there. There's hundreds of people. It's fun, actually. No more money to the government. How do we take their money? What? It's like climbing on a fun pirate ship. It's like, what? We don't have to. You're all nice and everything. Yeah, no, it's like a fun pirate ship where we take the money and we still got our own places. We don't get on the ship, actually. So that was fun and interesting and great people doing it. Very supportive people, not just myself. Everyone's in a different place. So I'm in Texas. I'm in Missouri, in California. I'm in, different places and doing different things in different places. So we're constantly getting different input from different people. And it's like, hey, has anyone done this in this state? And someone's like, hey, oh, I did that. This is what you need to do. So it's great to have everyone in there. It's not just me. I am supportive, but individual locations and stuff is great to have everyone else in
Frank's adding this date, June 30th, 1956.
there. Is that your? Is that what your paperwork says or your birth date?
Yeah. Somebody told him that. Reina says, what date do you put for opening the trust? 1/1/25 or today's date when we get the EIN?
When you get it notarized, so you should, get it notarized in the EIN the same day. So that's when, the notary's gonna sign, and you're gonna sign, and there's gonna be a date next to it. So that's on the trust itself. You follow me? The EIN, okay, you could do it a day later or another day, you could, but the trust itself is dated when. See? So
Right.
someone's going to go look. They're going to go, oh, well, let's see the date on the document. When did they sign? That's the date. So that's what it's for. I open to the trust. You got to notarize. That did that. Did that by itself allow you to open a bank account? No, because you didn't have an EIN yet. But that's when it was formed. Yes. See, those are two separate things. But I like to keep them on the same date if possible, so there's that question don't come up.
Right. JJ's back. Can the trust be beneficiary of another trust?
It could be, but that's like games they play. You're trying to do something evil. What you're trying to do, they try to hide things. And see, we're past hide it. This trust works perfectly. And so we're trying. When you think of a trust, you're like, okay, I'm trying to have. If I were to have a separate trust for some reason, for other than your first and last name trust, right? Okay, that would be a Christian one for home real estate. For a reason. You see what I'm saying? So you have these different trusts for different reasons. What is the main reason for having different trusts? To layer risk apart from the other trusts, yes, and the other assets, revenue stream, and everything that's in that trust, whatever, right? So you're not trying to ever combine trusts because separate trust means okay, the risk from those different assets and different things is separated. You see what I'm saying? So you're always trying to separate risks. You never try to combine them. It's people ask this question all the time. But it's like, no, what's the purpose of a trust? That's like against the single purpose of the trust. It's like, yeah, first of all, you don't need to hide anything. It's all above board. You're a Christian. You're not hiding nothing. It's not like the God we trust is being USA at the same time. You're not doing that. You're not hiding anything. You're not surreptitious in any way. You're above board. First and last name trust. No, you would not do that. Okay, but I get that question a lot. Thank you for it. And we're getting into the end here.
Here's the final question of the night. Good evening, everyone. I have an 18-year-old son with autism who lacks capacity to contract. How would you work that with a trust? And thank you for your knowledge and consistent lives.
You would work it for the same way that they do it with the Inga we trust. In other words, you could sign for him. You have paperwork, power of attorney, or something like that. You would sign for him. You could sign him, right, as beneficiary to this trust. That's what I would do in that case. Doesn't matter the age or whatever. Your power of attorney should allow you to literally legally sign for his name on adding him as a beneficiary. We have a course, a supporting course. How do I add someone as a beneficiary or remove? We have a course for that. You go through it after the course with the trust, but it answers how to do that exactly and specifically. So power of attorney allows you to literally legally sign for someone on the line where they sign. You see what I'm saying? And so that would allow you to contract them into being a beneficiary because you have that power. I'm reading into that because obviously you're watching over them and so on. So that must be present. So that's generally how. And as you do it, you would get in the classroom, right? It comes with being a student, and you'd be like, hey, okay, I talked to you. I'm a student. I got my trust. Let's work through this. You know what I'm saying? And I'll help you through that process in the classroom. So.
Excellent.
Yeah. Thank you.
Final thoughts.
You being here.
Final thoughts for you, Jack.
Really, everything's smooth over here. I mean, I'm just doing the same thing every Thursday. Like, this thing still works. Literally,
Yeah.
no hiccup, no hurdles, no nothing. What are you waiting for? You know what I'm saying? So, it's hard to have something every month. The best thing is like no ripples, no nothing. Taxman gets zero forever. Works for me, works for Tim, works for everyone. That's the message never changes. What are you waiting for, everyone? See you next Thursday.
See you next Thursday, everybody. And next time, bring your kids. Kids will be trustworthy. Just
Great
get them
question
to share the link.
I
But
love
there
this
you have it.
stuff. Thank you, Jill.
Have a great week, everybody. Bye now.